Thanks for joining us for another Kickstarter conniption. Today we're looking at Die of the Dead from Radical 8 Games.
And as always, we want to make sure our viewers are aware that our Kickstarter conniption videos are sponsored in part by our Kickstarter backers and by the creators of this game. Hey gang, and thanks for joining us at Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're previewing the game Die of the Dead from Radical 8 Games. It's from designers James Allen and Mark Stockton Pitt. Art is from Russ and Bell, and Derek Smiraki is the cultural consultant.
This is a Dia de Muertes themed dice rolling game for 2 to 5 players that takes about 30 to 50 minutes to play. Radical 8 Games was kind enough to send us a prototype copy to check out, so let's take a look at how it's played.
To set up the game, place out the caskets with the 4 action boards below.
Select a side for each of the token boards and place the corresponding tokens for your player count.
Give each player their board and dice, and place everyone's 3 power dice on the nearby City of the Dead board.
Place everyone's starting souls based on turn order, and then you're ready to begin.
On your turn, you'll select 1 action board and take all the actions listed.
These actions may include things like preparing your souls, placing your dice onto a player board,
or taking up to 3 of your prepared souls and adding them to a casket.
or shaking all the contents of the casket, comparing die values, and ascending the highest valued die up the marigold steps.
Each time one of your dice makes it onto the marigold steps, you can gain a bonus, either a powerful token that will grant you a unique one-time ability, or you can collect one of your power dice from the City of the Dead. These dice will feature 2 wild faces.
During the game, only the first casket in the row remains open, so after an action has caused you to move caskets, you'll have to remember what was inside.
Stacking the odds in your favor is key to climbing the marigold steps.
The player to ascend all 9 steps first and have their souls reach the land of the living wins. The Die of the Dead features a unique mix of mechanics that will have you trying to remember what you've placed into secret hidden containers. You'll be trying to stack the odds in your favor so that when you get to that final casket location and you roll the dice, yours will be the dice that make it onto the steps and ultimately, hopefully, be the first one to get your souls back to the land of the living.
Yeah, in the game setup, you have some options. Those token boards are double-sided, so you can mix and match what side you'd like to use for your game. And then you'll set the tokens on for your player count. You can only ever have 2 of those tokens in your possession at any one time. Some of them, like Will said, are played on other people's turns. Some of them are played on your turn, but ultimately they can be used to kind of chain some of your actions so that you can hopefully remember where you've put your dice and get them in the casket that's end up moving towards that 4th spot, because those ones, whoever ends up being the highest valued in that casket will get to move up to the board.
In the game, you've really only got those 4 options to choose from each round unless you have some bonus tokens, and that seems like it would be a really easy choice. It's actually kind of tough sometimes because you may know that you have some dice in this casket and you really need it to just be bumped, but nobody's going to roll it if it's on their turn, and so trying to anticipate what other players do in the game is really interesting. Also, just trying to remember, oh man, were my 6 dice in this mat, 4 dice in this one and 2 in this one, I don't remember where they were. Some of those tokens might allow you to peek, which comes in really handy sometimes. And then one of the best parts about the game is that when you get to that end and somebody else decides to roll it to see if they can win and you win instead, your guys are going up the steps, which is pretty neat. The ending of the game can be kind of determined by anyone, so you could win on someone else's turn, which is not too shabby. But there is that risk sometimes that you take when you're rolling that last spot. 2 dice are probably going to end up on the board. You hope that they're yours. You want to stack in your favor. Crushing when someone else's dice takes the lead and wins the game for them.
Yeah, one of the options on that last board action is you can add one of the power dice to your power soul to your pool of dice that you're choosing from. And so those ones have 2 faces on them that are wild. that can definitely help your odds, because in the event that there are ties, those can count as sixes, so you may be able to help your odds a little bit, but also sometimes it's just helpful to get more dice in there. So adding those dice to your pool means that you'll have more options to put all of your dice into those caskets.
The artwork for the game is really sharp and consistent overall. They've got the steps, which are pretty neat. The boxes are, we're just looking at prototype components, but the boxes right now are pretty heavy duty and feel great as you're sliding them around. Everybody's got their own unique player boards. I think there's an advanced variant, which we haven't played yet, where the players actually have variable player powers as well, which is kind of interesting. So lots of different stuff going on. Definitely check out their Kickstarter campaign to learn more.
Yeah, they've done a good job with trying to keep correct with the theme. They have a cultural consultant. They've taken steps to make sure that the art fits with the theme. Even the tokens, like the candles and the marigold flowers, all of that fits with the Dia de Muertos.
Yeah, so if it looks like something that you would be interested in, then check it out on Kickstarter right now. And as always, thanks so much for liking, following along, commenting, and subscribing here at Tantrum House.
Thanks for joining us for another Kickstarter conniption. Today we're looking at the game.
This one. She didn't like my initial pronunciation.
I didn't.
She was like,
Muertos.
Muertos.
Dia
de
Muertos.
Blah, 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 blah.
You're not Joey Tribbiani, come on.
Dia de Muertos.
This should have been reviewed by Chantel.
A Spanish person. Chantel, where you at?
And today we're previewing the game. I almost said Dia de Muertos.
She almost did.
Oh, it would have been close. It would have been close.
A lot of movement, taking a lot of actions. I don't know, that was a really great intro.
There are ways to add the souls from your board to the first casket. The first I'm just rambling.
Not going to the outtakes, but if it did, it'd be amazing.